Just to move from arts and culture to a more pressing social issue. So Charles with number 51.
The Queensland Council of Social Services estimates that there are on average almost 3,000 homeless people on the Sunshine Coast at any one time. What do you intend to do about it? And if it's not the Council's responsibility, will you make an election promise to lobby the state or federal governments for housing for the homeless people on Sunshine Coast?
Okay, I'll start with Brett on that. It's a good question.
I'll make that commitment to lobby the federal state government for you. I'll go hand in hand with you. There are some obviously concerns around local government funding to what extent, but certainly you'll have the most stringent and loudest voice behind you all the way.
Okay, Jim.
The answer to your second part is yes, and I'd like to get as much low-level, high-density population going.
Kim?
Yes, actually I'm quite familiar with a number of groups that work with this issue, such as Fusion and Youth with a Mission, Menshed. There's actually a number of programs, and I know that they're all under-resourced and the demand is growing, and it has been a problem for a long time. Certainly there has to be a level of commitment. I think it's important to coordinate all of those groups. As I said, there are a number of really exceptional groups, but they work incredibly hard. I know I was in community development myself for many years, so I do understand. But it's about coordinating them, but also giving them support. And I think that often they do work alone, these services which provide things. And as I said, they really feel the stress. To be able to elevate their need and to make it a public concern and to champion it as well is going to go a long way to addressing that problem. Okay. But I just want to really thank you for raising that question. That's a really great question. Thank you very much, Charles.
And Mark?
I think we've got to really understand the cause and not just focus on the symptoms. Clearly there's a lot of young homeless people here who choose to come to the coast rather than live where they currently live, and there'd be plenty from families that have been dislocated for one reason or another as a consequence of the very tough economic times here on the Sunshine Coast. By focusing on economic development that provides real employment opportunities for young people so they can stand on their own 2 feet will go a long way to solving the problem rather than just putting band-aids over the symptoms.
And I know a lot of candidates are looking at me wanting to answer, but I'm going to come to another cause. So a pre-submitted question is about affordable living, and the background is that, you know, we've got rising water, electricity and transport costs on the coast, but the coast has also got a high level of housing stress, with 1 in 3 households on the Sunshine Coast paying more for housing than economists think is considered affordable. We've got 40% less social housing than the state average to meet the needs for low income and disadvantaged families, and housing prices which are driving our young people away and not suited to our ageing demographic. Their statistics that come out of the current council's affordable living policy or strategy. So the question to the candidates is, are you proposing to make living on the coast more affordable, and how? I'll start with you, Debbie.
Yes, the new planning scheme provides for a consolidation of population around centres, and this means that we're creating communities where people can live and work and recreate all within walking distance. So the new communities right across the coast will be walkable, livable communities, and they will be linked each to each. As transit-oriented development. So each area is regarded as a TOD, a transit-oriented development, and linked to the others. My pledge is to develop a local economic action plan for each one of the towns on the Sunshine Coast to identify what those communities are good at, what the constraints are, what the obstacles are, to build on the resources and the assets and the people that live there, and to work out what really works in communities like that. So this goes beyond affordable housing to affordable living. And if I could just also address the previous point, because I was trying to put my green card up, but Brian was looking the other way. In Brisbane, they have a Brisbane housing company, and the local government, the Brisbane local government, actually helped it get started and contributed to the asset base that was then available for the Brisbane Housing Company. We have a Sunshine Coast Housing Company, but the previous councils have strongly resisted getting involved, saying it's another government's problem. But it's not. It comes... Okay. We do need to...
so I can see people who want to have another response. So Mark, you first.
Thank you again. I think we can be guilty of treating the symptom. We've had an appalling lack of collaboration and cooperation across all three levels of government on the Sunshine Coast. We've been out of step as a largely conservative area for 20 of the last 22 years in the state government. Many of these problems could be resolved with closer working relationships between local, state and federal government, where we concentrated on our common objectives and ensured the resources that were deployed were delivering a result. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that's why you need an independent mayor to represent the best interests of the Sunshine Coast to all levels of government.
Okay, Michael?
A survey last year said that 93% of people in Queensland thought we were a nanny state. You know, at what point do you wind back regulation? Do you say that you want a smaller public sector? I just believe government at every level has gotten too big, too intrusive in people's lives, too much regulation. If you want to talk about affordability, you need to talk about a smaller public sector. That is the only way you're going to get it. The private sector pays the wages of the public sector, and we need to make the public sector smaller, more efficient and leaner. Now, this council wants to increase its expenditure over the next 2 years by 12%. The Director of Finance came out before Christmas and said, I want to put your rates up by only 5%. Well, 5% is double the going rate of inflation at the moment. Are we kidding? It's just ridiculous.
Okay, we're getting off the point. Okay.